So with that, I hope I have given you enough information about framework. Let me now focus on the ArchiMate. Yeah, so ArchiMate is one of the upcoming knowledge that make enterprise architecture super practical or very practical, and also to make TOGAF much more simpler to understand and to comprehend. So let me just explain this ArchiMate in the next 20 slides. First, let me introduce the concept on the musical notes. So for those of you who play the music, I believe you can read this note. Yeah. And same thing, you can sing by reading the notes, or you can play your musical instrument almost instantly. So this is the power of the notes that we have seen this on the slide and has been around for many, many years. The same thing with the construction of building architecture notational language. If you look at the architecture blueprint of the building, typically you will see this type of drawing. So they have a standard. They know this is a pillar and this is the landmark, this is the door, this is the window. So they got the notation very clearly defined. Now, how about our notation to describe the technology, the IT? Some people using this type of notation, some people using another block, some using direct database with the connectivity, and some using just chart directly on the whiteboard or on the iPad drawing. So how do we comprehend all this? Because our industry lack of the standardization. Let me give you an analogy on the aeroplane. This on the left-hand side is the aeroplane. I would call a digital aeroplane. So they define every part. They got millions of spare parts inside the aeroplane. And every spare parts are having impact or interdependence on any other spare part to work. So you know that if any particular parts not working, which other part also will not function in the whole aeroplane. And if you know that you are sitting in this upper deck, and what is the impact of you making a noise or making a vibration to the lower deck? Likewise to the back of the aeroplane itself. So this is all defined nicely. Imagine if this is your enterprise today. Who has this visibility? Who knows about the impact if you make particular business function change or you make particular business process change, which other department internally as well as externally will be impacted? Yeah, so basically we can learn from this aeroplane design on the how can we define our enterprise in the similar way. The same thing on the right hand side here, we have the iPad. So someone may need to draw the motherboard, someone may need to draw the interdependency, someone need to know the relationship, so that any particular part not working, you know exactly which function, which program will not be working. Isn't it similar? What we see here, the analogy of the aeroplane and the iPad with our enterprise. So this is basically the introduction into the ArchiMate, because ArchiMate exactly providing this type of symbol, this type of relationship, the line between the entire enterprise. The concept is, the method of doing this is can be described in this one slide. Yeah, if you can see on the bottom here, they call it real world enterprise. You like it or not, our real world enterprise has been designed as a silo. So there will be a silo of the system, there will be a silo of people, and they are actually interdependent. And sometimes, if you are just happen in the group here, number 3, but the group number 1 and number 2, they did not really give you a right data to process. What happened when you pass your information to the next department? Definitely the department will tell you that you have to do some rework because you're asking this and you're going to ask back the previous department. And normally in this typical situation in the enterprise, everybody will play politics. They will tell you that don't touch my area. My area is fine. It's your process that is not correct. So how can we break through this type of wall? Because in order for us to do transformation, we need to make sure that everyone works together. So the only thing that we can break through this wall is by using the meta model. Hopefully you can hear the enterprise meta model. So enterprise meta model is exactly the same like just now I've shown you in the aeroplane as well as in the motherboard. So basically we need to define our enterprise meta model for our organization today. We need to know exactly where are the strategy being propagated into which business area, business landscape, and how the business landscape itself supported by the application landscape, by the technology. And then we need to understand interdependency. We need to understand the impact analysis. Basically, enterprise meta model giving us the map of our enterprise today. Once we have defined the enterprise meta model, we can put that into the repository. This is where just now the FTSN is with the tool. So many also the organization, they just get their digital EA repository, but they don't know how to configure the meta model. So the key is that you need to define the meta model, like you define the database schema, then you put that defined in your repository. Then from there, you can make a decision, strategic decision in terms of the query, in terms of the dashboarding, in terms of the reporting, in terms of the impact analysis. So this is very, very important concept defined in TOGAF, how we can map our real world using enterprise architecture. This is the example on the viewpoint. So some of you who have understand enterprise architecture, you definitely have a deal with a lot of the viewpoint, architecture viewpoint. Basically is the template. The template for us to define the architecture. So basically they got the yellow. The yellow color means business. The blue color means application. The green color means technology. And then they got the orange, purple color, which is actually about the motivation stakeholders. And there will be gray color, actually about the strategy, and also about the transition architecture there, the what a bit greenish. Yeah. So basically, this is where the template on the architecture is about how we can connect all that. Exactly like Lego. Okay. If you ever open up the Lego today, if you buy, apparently the Lego you buy today and the Lego you buy 20 years ago totally different. In the past, I remember everything into the box. Now they give you into a package. Package A, package B, package C. So in the Lego itself, they got a set of the building block for you to follow the instruction. The same thing with the enterprise architecture. Also have the Lego concept, which is the ArchiMate. I'm going to elaborate further. So if you see on the right hand side here, the objective is that we want to map the business layer, the application and the technology layer. That is at a very, very high level. And every block, as you can see in this map, are all not standalone, all interdependence, all interconnect, so that we can understand the impact if we change particular layer at the business, which application, which technology will be impacted. So hopefully you can get a glimpse on the building blocks described in ArchiMate in terms of the defining digital twin of the enterprise. So the concept is this. We want to make sure that we define we want to make sure that all the motivation is captured from our key stakeholders, and we understand the goal, the assessment, and we also define the strategy that going to realize the motivation of the key stakeholders. Then from there, at the business side, we also want to make sure that our business, in terms of the process, people, organization, are ready to support the motivation and the strategy. If not, then this is the opportunity for us to transform. Then the next one, of course, in terms of the data, we want to make sure the data is ready and the data providing a strategic decision making as a tool for strategic decision making. Then the next part is on the technology. The technology is where we want to make sure that our infrastructure, our network can support the business and motivation. So the right hand side is where we are going to define the digitally connected enterprise. It's very, very key. So we need to have the full traceability from the strategy to the business, to the information, to the infrastructure or technology. So the example is this. If the strategy changes, we can show straight away which are the business division, which of the business function, business process are impacted, which data that are impacted, which application impacted, which technology impacted. This is example on the building blocks of the connected enterprise. Just now I mentioned about the left-hand side here. So this is actually the example on the typical meta model that you might want to build for your enterprise. Yeah. So as you can see here, they got multiple layers. You can see the multiple layers here. They got the motivation layers. They got the strategy layers. They got the business layer. They got the application layer. They got technology, and they got implementation and migration. So this all mapped nicely to the TOGAF. So the next subsequent slide, I'm going to show each of the layers and what are the components in there. So basically here all we we need to be able to define this building block for the enterprise. Yeah, this one, if you give an analogy of a human body, this is basically the organ structure of the human body. And you see the line, the arrow here, actually is our blood vessel, our nervous system. The same thing now with the enterprise. So we need to be able to define this building block in order for us to run our enterprise architecture. Because today, all this knowledge, the block itself, what I call it a tribal knowledge. Tribal knowledge means they reside in a particular group of people. If you don't belong to that particular group of people, you don't know that information. So it is very, very challenging for an enterprise today to do transformation because a group of people don't like and don't want to share their information to other group, even though you are actually working in the same department. So enterprise architecture is trying to break through all this wall so that information is freely available and freely accessible within the enterprise, so that we can do a proper transformation and we can improve our productivity, our efficiency, and of course, our capability. So the concept, basically, on the left-hand side is the complexity of our enterprise. Our business, we are trying to innovate, but somehow we are being held by the bottom part, the knowledge, the people, the process, and the technology, which is what I call it resources. So the resources sometimes is stopping us to innovate because our resources are not ready. Our people are not ready. Our people don't have enough knowledge. The process are not well defined. The technology are not really suitable to bring us to the next level. So how can we break through this? The only thing is that we need to create a digital twin. We need to map into the process using the ArchiMate. So as you can see here in this on the right hand side, all the blocks, the building blocks are actually the ArchiMate. So we are trying to map the interdependency. We are trying to understand, to comprehend, to model our enterprise. So what would the transformation looks like? So we can see here, everything is interdependency and interconnected. Before I share with you the case study, let me share with you the video. And this video will exactly show you about the building block, about the digital map. Although they don't call it digital map, but you can see all the building block, the Lego, exactly the one that I'm going to describe in my next 50 slides. I still got 50 slides to go to run through with you the case study on how you can create the building block like described in this video.
Why enterprise architecture? Well, here's a reason. Michael works at our company. Now, because of new business demands, he is in need of specific data. But his data is spread out over different applications. Exclusively for Michael, a developer writes a program that'll get his data from applications A, B, and C and write it to an Excel file in directory Y. That way, Michael will be able to read all the data in his spreadsheet and use it. Michael then realizes that he needs this on a daily basis. It would save a lot of time if the program ran automatically every day. Therefore, an infrastructure manager writes a batch job to set this up for him. Now, an application flow has been created, especially for Michael, which depends on a number of other applications. But Michael is not the only one who wants to improve his efficiency, so multiply this situation by a few thousand. We call this hairball architecture. Think of it as a huge hairball with fibers going in every possible direction. No one's keeping track of it, and no one has control over it. Now, imagine we have to replace a huge application because it's out of date and the supplier has said that in 2 years they'll stop the support. We have no idea what the application is connected to. It's an endless network of dependencies, which were all created one at a time. And each connection made sense at the time, but the total is such a chaotic situation that it's impossible to change one aspect without damaging something else. Now that's where enterprise architecture comes in. We have to deal with the IT landscape in such a way that people have the freedom to create improvements and that there's always room for innovation. Architecture makes sure that our IT landscape is robust as well as flexible and efficient. This requires a process to keep things organized. For this reason, each new project needs a project start architecture. This is created by a project architect who is part of the project team. He or she writes a plan explaining how the total landscape will look when the project is complete. This plan includes the applications we've set up, what they do for the business, and the hardware they require. The project start architecture is evaluated by the architecture board. In this board, architects from every domain in our company work together and supervise the entire landscape. Summarized, enterprise architecture is about three things. We take a look at the existing situation. We help to develop and evaluate designs. And we create a sketch for the future so that everyone understands the direction we're heading. Architecture is about insight and knowledge. The world doesn't lend itself to being easily understood or pinned down in rules. There's no way we can know what the regulators are going to say to us 3 years from now. But what we can do is make choices which will ensure that we will be flexible, robust, and efficient in the future. Because in the end, it's all about maintaining our ability to change. That's why enterprise architecture.
So let me now go through the case study. The next about 50 slides. We will be going through about the case study in driving digital transformation with enterprise architecture using TOGAF and ArchiMate. It will be good if you have a prior knowledge. If not, I believe you will also benefit and you can see the impact or the outcome applying TOGAF and ArchiMate in this case study. So let me just introduce you with the case study based on the ArchiSurance. So ArchiSurance is the available case study that you can Google it. You can download from the Open Group website. So basically, the ArchiSurance is the outcome of a merger and acquisition of three other insurance company. The first company called Travel Insurance, Home and Away. So Home and Away basically is insuring all your house or your property, as well as when you are travel. Yeah, so if you got any lost luggage, flight delay, you get the insurance coverage. The second insurance that they are, another division is called Profit. Actually, it's the car insurance, it's the auto insurance. It's the normal auto insurance, so they cover your insurance for any accident that may happen. The last insurance group is called Legal Yours. Basically, it's about legal expense insurance. Yeah, in the US, typically all the big corporations they will insure with this type of the legal insurance policy. So these three companies merged into one to become ArchiSurance. So imagine this is where you have the merger and acquisition. So there will be a system from the overlapping. There will be an overlapping of the system, processes, department, and the services that coming from these three companies into one, ArchiSurance. So rationalization. So as part of this merger and acquisition, so we need to simplify the infrastructure, because what happened is that we need to ensure that the shared services are enforced, because we cannot maintain three separate systems. So we need to ensure also the business continuity. So we need to make sure that there will be a backup cluster and to support the data center at the headquarters. And the most important thing, they want to leverage on the latest technology and also embarking into the digital transformation. So their digital transformation tagline is called Digital Customer Intimacy Strategy. So basically, they want to keep their existing client and of course doing cross-selling across three different group of their client. And they're also going to embrace on the big data and the IoT, Internet of Things. So you can see later how the ArchiMate and enterprise architecture addressing Internet of Things as well as the big data to drive the transformation. And this is actually their goals. So they want to make sure that they got a real-time insurance products where customer can receive direct feedback on the financial consequences of the behavior, advice on adjustment to lower their insurance policy premium. So basically, they are trying to give leveraging on the latest technology. So all the insuree will be given so-called a tracker. So if the tracker could be a smartwatch that can be available now, download the application, so they monitor your sleeping time, they monitor your heartbeat, and etc. And you can get discount. Likewise, for the car, if you are subscribing the car insurance, so the car will be install a device that will communicate to their server in terms of your driving habit, your speed limit, etc. So you can get discount on your insurance premium if you are categorized under a good driver. So basically, all these vehicle tracking system, home automation gateway, so there will be alarm, CCTV, etc. So they are really leveraging on the smart devices. I think I mentioned earlier on the same thing. If you want to apply a smart city, smart home, etc., you need to have a proper enterprise architecture defined. Not only just buying devices. Devices is important. We need to have the tracker, we need to have the sensor, etc. But we need to connect and to orchestrate all the data, all the information, so that we can make a wise decision in terms of in this context of the ArchiSurance, to give discount, to increase a loyalty of their subscriber. And for the B2B market, so they want to have a connected data from sources. So they want to have a fleet management system, energy network, install RFID device, and smart building sensors. So those who are insured with them, they want to make sure that all the alarm are fully functioning and working. And also all the, in case got the fire, etc. So they want to make sure that the sensor all in place, so that they can compete in giving the client the lowest possible premium, because the technology indicate that the risk is very low for this particular client compared to the other client that are maybe without adopting or applying a particular technology. So this is very, very practical. Can be applied to any business that we want to that we have today. So let me map the whole case study with the TOGAF. So what happened is that if you TOGAF, they got core business layer at the B, and also connect a little bit to motivation and strategy. Then they got application layer as well, all connected to the center partner requirement, technology layer, as well as implementation and migration. So before I show you the case study, let me just introduce a couple of the relationship. As I mentioned earlier, that the ArchiMate provide about a dozen relationship that we can use to realize our enterprise vision and mission, and how to model a digital twin of the enterprise. Yeah, so this relationship described here, and of course they got another table to give you a mapping on which block that can use what type of relationship. Yeah, so I will not be going through on this, otherwise it will take about 4 or 5 hours to actually the training is about 3 days to go through all this. So I just give you a glimpse that these are different type of relationship available in the ArchiMate. Let's focus on the phase A, architecture vision. So what happened is that in the ArchiMate 3.1, they have a set of the building block that you can use. As you can see here, got stakeholder, got the driver, got assessment, got goal, and the outcome that you can use the building block. Yeah. Then after that, they got the principle, they have requirement, they have constraint, they got the meaning, they got the value. Then they also have a strategy element, allows you to model the strategy. So in terms of the resources, capability, value stream, and cost of action. So this is the example on the stakeholder view of the ArchiSurance. So basically the board, which is the senior management, they want to have the concern their driver is the sales target. They want to achieve the highest sales target. They want to make sure the stakeholder satisfaction are fulfilled, as well as customer satisfaction. And of course, for the customer itself, if you are the insuree of the ArchiSurance, you also want to be satisfied. You don't want to complain. I mean, if there is a complaint, of course you can complain, but you want to be happy customer. And of course, you want to also understand your product portfolio. What are the coverage? What are the so-called the discount you can have? You buy other product, and also you have competitive pricing. So this is the map on the example or the particular stakeholder view. Then if you see just now the board, and then they got the profitability at the bottom here. yeah, stakeholder satisfaction, and of course to ensure profitability. So how can we connect the board and the profitability here? So you can see here the board then and profitability. So actually, in order for us to be profitable, we need to define the strategy. The strategy here, I call it digital customer intimacy strategy. And the strategy need to be supported by the two capability. First, we need to have the digital customer management capability, and we need to have data-driven insurance. So if we have that data-driven and digital customer management, we should be able to realize our digital customer intimacy strategy. Basically, like especially today in the context of the pandemic, we can't meet the client, but how can we still build the intimacy customer relationship? So the only thing is that we need to have a so-called information in terms of the data-driven and the digital customer management, and we need to ensure the outcome. We create a best-in-class online customer experience. Then we also need to have a detailed insight in the customer behavior so that we can customize. And then after that, as you can see just now, ArchiSurance going to put all the devices, the sensors in the car, in the human as a wearable devices. Then from there, they can offer a very competitive premium setting, the price. So you don't need to ask for discount, but the discount come to you immediately when you renew. You say, oh, you are a good driver. You haven't speeding in the last 12 months, therefore you have the reward. So these are the thing about the enterprise architecture. You do a modeling. Then with that, you can improve customer satisfaction. You can higher customer retention. You can increase the revenue, increase the market share, and you are contributing to the profitability, which is the concern of the stakeholders. And when you are in the profitability states, you definitely can eliminate customer defecting to competitor with superior digital experience. Your client definitely will stay with you. And of course, customer defecting to competitor with lower insurance premium. You don't need to worry because your price is already at the bare minimum, because you can customize the pricing based on the particular behavior of your client. So isn't it this interesting concept that enterprise architecture can be applied to analyze all this? The next one is on the business architecture. So these are the building block that will be used in the business architecture. So there will be business actor, business role, business collaboration, business interface, business process, and business function. And also business interaction, business event, business service, business object, contract, representation, and product. Basically, anything that you can think of in the business actually has been defined, or there's a symbol in the ArchiMate as a language. Yeah, so this example on the organization view of the ArchiSurance. So there will be a front office sharing across a different product group. So this is called a department: homeowner and travel back office, auto back office, and legal expense back office. So there will be the back office through 3 departments supporting the front office, and they got supported by the shared service center in case of the help desk and etc. So this is a very interesting concept on the defining the organization structure. The next one, we understand about the value stream. Yeah, the top one, you can see the value stream about developing a new product, market and sell the product, manage policy and claim, and then serve the customer. So typically all these are value streams supported by the various capability at the bottom there. So there will be a product management capability, sales and distribution capability, marketing capability, then there will be policy and claim management capability, customer management capability. So all these capability belong to the particular group of division or line of business in your organization. And with this, we are basically architecting the whole enterprise to be seamless, to work together to achieve the goal, the common goal. The next one on the business function. So we know that every business function across the department, they are sending the information or sending the flow. So this is the model of the example, how the information itself travel or across different functions. So the good thing about this is that if there's any issue in the particular information or any discrepancy, we know which function that are churning out this particular information and belong to which department. Because you see here, front office, back office, shared service center, bank, even to the external, and also the client. So we can troubleshoot any issue, or we can do fine tuning here. The next one on the business process, the same concept. We need to understand where the business process being triggered and like issuing new policy, and then how you handle the claim when the claim received here, how you capture information, notify additional stakeholders, you validate, you investigate, and then whether you approve or reject the claim. Okay, and then how you can also calculate the process of calculate insurance premium, new policy, issue new policy and handle claim, actually realizing the value stream with this managed policy and claim. Yeah, and all these relationship is not standalone. All these are interconnected as defined in the meta model. Yeah, so imagine this is where you are filling up the form. If you are doing the typical simple application, you fill out the form, all the information, and all the information all eventually will be used to query, to do a reporting, to do impact analysis, and also to do dependency for decision making. Then the next one on the application layer, yeah, information system architecture. So these are so-called building block that are used in the ArchiMate. So there will be application component, application collaboration, application interface, application function, application interaction, application process, application event, service, and data object. Data object actually representing the actual physical database table in this context. So this is example on the information structure view of ArchiSurance. So we understand that the customer record actually has an insurance file, and then insurance file typically have another composition, can be composed with the insurance request, insurance policy, and the insurance claim. And then of course by the insurance policy itself, they got multiple policy. There will be a travel insurance policy, which is called inheritance. Yeah? So there will be travel insurance policy, homeowner policy, auto insurance, and legal expense. So if all the clients subscribing all the insurance to ArchiSurance, so you have all type of policy. And the next one is on the application usage. So we can also understand that every application, they have the services, then it's used by the business layer. The yellow part is the business layer. So this is where we can analyze that on the particular instance why the business is have some issue or some challenges, whether we have passed the right information to the particular process, has all the process customer can do self-service. So this one we can analyze and we can enhance our application services based on this understanding. Likewise, when we do gap analysis, so we can understand that on the particular, because remember that we are actually consolidating three different entity of a three different company into one. So there will be some of system that redundant that we need to merge, become one. So for instance here, they got the green one. The green one is something that we are going to have the new one, and the red one is something that we are going to decommission. Decommission means we are going to retire them because redundant. So this is one of the way that enterprise architecture can be used to do consolidation. And when you want to merge into the new two department or two entity of your subsidiary into one, or you are doing merger and acquisition, you can use enterprise architecture in the same manner. You can also do the based on the business function, business process, which one is overlapping, which one is new, which one need to be decommissioned, and etc. The next one is on the technology layer, on the infrastructure part. So these are some of the building block used. So there will be nodes, there will be device, there will be system software, there will be technology collaboration, there will be technology interface, there will be path, and there will be communication network. And they also have technology function, technology process, technology interaction, technology event, technology service, and artifacts. And interestingly, in the ArchiMate 3.1, they also have equipment. So equipment is where you have the machinery. So for instance, because we are now talking about IoT, Internet of Things, and all the machine also now they got the smart sensor, smart devices. So we can connect that and define that as equipment, and they got facility for us to define the storage, the logistic, and also distribution network in terms of the transportation. Could be a railway, could be sending via air freight, and etc. And likewise, the material that we have, so-called the raw material that we need to process. So ArchiMate is really providing us with useful and relevant building block to define the enterprise today. So these are the so-called the building block that has been available, and so far I haven't come across that I cannot find missing building block. It's almost pretty much the building block are sufficient enough to describe even the factory, the logistic, the bank, even the regulatory body, the enterprise, the government, the ministry, the agency, all can be defined using the ArchiMate. So this example where you are collating all the tracker, the equipment from your devices, smart devices, yeah, like the smart thermostat, home alarm system, fitness tracker, car black box, all that can be consolidated into the IoT device. Then after that, they can send flow the information all into the headquarter, home and away headquarter, whereby you have the node. The node basically is like a server where you are processing all the data, because from there you can make a decision in terms of giving a special price or competitive pricing, discount to a particular client based on their behavior. The next one is on the technology gap. So we also need to consolidate various infrastructure in terms of the server, network, and data center, and how the combination network need to be redesigned, because we are merging 3 different companies into one, ArchiSurance. So this is the example of the consolidation, or what they call it, rationalizing the technology architecture. Yeah, as you can see here at the bottom here, they got both are having in baseline and target. So the blue one is remain, the red one is going to be decommissioned, and the green one is the new system to be acquired or to be purchased or to be built. So you can see here how the enterprise architecture addressing the gap and analysis for the technology architecture. The next one is on the E, which is in the TOGAF is where we are going to do the consolidation of all the gap. So typically this one is done by today in your context, it will be done by the PMO, Project Management Office, whereby we consolidate all the gap, and then from there we decide which project that we are going ahead for this year and how much money we are going to allocate. So in this, typically they got ArchiMate notation like work packages, what are your deliverable, then implementation event, and then they got the play to, and they got the gap that you are trying to fulfill. So for instance, in the baseline, you might want to go into the transition A and B, yeah, as a separate track. So in the transition A, you are going to do one enterprise-wide CRM system with baseline back office, and transition B with the standard back office suite with baseline CRM system. So basically, is that you are going to make a decision, either transition A or B. Then after that, you move to transition C, whereby one enterprise-wide CRM system with standard back office system. Then at the end, you achieve your target. So this is the example on the way you are going to portray diagrammatically about what are you going to achieve with your architecture. Then the next one is on the migration planning, which is where you are going to look at the particular project in more detail. So this is the example. The bottom part actually is about the work packages that need to be carried out. And every work packages itself actually are fulfilling. The green one is where you are going to develop a new node like data acquisition gateway. You need ArchiSurance backup server cluster. You need to have the data warehouse solution. You need to have ArchiSurance back office suite. So these are the new one that you don't have today, but in the target you're going to develop this. And the red one is where you're going to decommission. Yeah, and the blue one is where you are going to keep and no changes. So this is example on the how you can portray this. And the beauty of this, of course, is not only these boxes you show this, but this one you can trace back into your business, into your application, into your strategy, into your motivation, because all of these are interconnected in the meta model. So I hope I have given you a glimpse on the how you can apply the TOGAF and ArchiMate, and of course there are more into it, not only just boxes. You can put the field, the attributes, so you can create a dashboard for your decision making. Okay, so in summary, strategic enterprise architecture basically helping us to define our strategic planning on the left hand side, where we can develop our business strategy, IT strategy, and drive digital transformation, as well as we can do a portfolio planning and risk management, and also we can manage the vendor in the much independent way, because we know exactly which particular technology, which are the particular equipment that we are going to procure based on our architecture roadmap. And of course, we can manage the technology management in terms of the life cycle, in terms of the end of support, end of life, to make sure that our system, our network, our application are protected from any vulnerability, as well as the change management, solution design, and the project management. As you can see just now, in terms of the portfolio and project management, enterprise architecture giving the input in terms of gaps, in terms of opportunity that in terms of the work packages that need to be carried out into the project. So let me share with you about the video. Actually, it's about my video to give you perspective in terms of what enterprise architecture can give you. Whether you think like today you need enterprise architecture or you don't need enterprise architecture. So let's just watch this video shortly.
In the layman term, 30 years ago was organization structure, org structure. Okay, but I want to have the digital map that I can ask. So if I tell you that you are Mr. So and you are from that department, so can I just open digital map? I want to know what is your role, and I can also find out which are the department that you are working closely in your enterprise. Okay, and I can also find out what actually your SOP, your day-to-day job. Okay, are you approving? If yes, you're who approving it? What processes do you do? And after that, I also want to know which IT system that's supporting it. Okay, if you can give me that answer in 5 minutes, you don't need EA. Done. Many people said EA is a project. I have done my EA 3 years ago. Here are the proof, right? And most of the case is that the EA that they have done is in a static book, okay, static deliverable. As soon as you printed that static book, immediately obsolete. The second part, many people think EA is can eliminate the complexity. Okay, the fact is not the word eliminating, but it's managing. Okay, how can now we manage that complexity and we do better than the rest? The third one, of course, people say that enterprise architecture is only for IT team. Okay, this is totally the myth. It was correct 20 years ago. You talk about architecture word, pass it to the IT team. But now the enterprise architecture involve, the stakeholders, key stakeholders, the decision maker. Then involve a motivation of all the divisional head, and also strategy, capability of the business. If the company don't have this type of so-called adoption on the architecture concept, they will not go anywhere, because the world is moving very, very fast. So how fast can you respond? That is the question that we need to ask. With the EA, you can respond it quite quickly, because you know exactly that I need to change my entire product offering, and the digital map will tell you, like the GPS, right? It tell you, okay, these are 20 processes impacted, these are 3 departments impacted, these are the IT system that need to change, and you quickly make a decision within a day. What are you going to do? Without EA, you still can make a decision that may take weeks or months, depending on how big is your enterprise. Moving forward, the complexities and the digital complexity is exponential, and there must be some way to manage this, and you cannot do it the way we used to do it in the past. The benefit is that networking, I think, is very, very important. We believe that we can learn. I don't think we claim that we know everything. That's why we need to get the input from the industry, and they can do some validation, like check and balance.
Hopefully you can digest what I have described in the video. The important on the having enterprise architecture. Let me just go through the typical journey line. So in the middle part here, as you can see, is where the digital enterprise map that we are trying to develop using a TOGAF and ArchiMate. I think I have given you a glimpse on how you can develop that meta model, the interconnectivity between the enterprise. Let me summarize on what I have described earlier about the first thing first. If you want to have a successful enterprise architecture establishment, you need to have the right framework to be established in your organization. You need to get your people trained, equipped with the right skill set, and you need to adopt the ArchiMate, the relationship, the building block. So the building block, the Lego, is that you need to define that. It's not anyhow you plug any block and then you put it there. So everything need to be templatized. Then after that, you need to have the right digital repository. Yeah. So in terms of the journey, typically they have what they call it readiness assessment. This is where you assess where you are today and how you are going to achieve the next maturity level. So this is where you understand the qualitative and the quantitative analysis in terms of the dimension factors like stakeholder commitment, like team competency, work collaboration, and etc. So this is where you get the feel on where you are today. Then from there you do motivation modeling. I think I have given you an example. So you need to understand all your business, your driver, your stakeholders, concern, and etc. Likewise, from there you need to map your strategy. We need to understand your capability. Like just now we're talking about value stream, and which capability supporting which value stream, and which capability belong to which department. That's very, very important. And from there you can also map the resources. Once this one is done, then you can do the business architecture modeling. You understand the whole structure of your organization, how the business need to collaborate, what are the processes need to be re-architecting, and which are the services or internal as well as external business services that need to be modeled. Then once that one is done, then you're looking at the application architecture, looking at which application that need to be interconnected. You need to in terms of the application usage and relevancy to support the business. Likewise, the bottom part is technology. Technology is very important. Just now you have seen that you can also model the IoT in terms of like to understand how all the smart devices can be processed, can be modeled to give critical data or information through the application for the business, for the decision making. Likewise, the EA realization is where you're going to execute a multiple project, where you can view the value of the particular project, where the particular project is delivering the vision, mission of your key stakeholders. And the last part is where typically the organization will need to go through the maturity assessment, because you need to know at what maturity you are today and tomorrow. Likewise, if you're ready tomorrow, you want to know what is my maturity level last year. I need to know which are the area that, which are the dimension factor that I'm doing well, which are the dimension factor that I'm not doing so well, and what should I do about that. So maturity assessment basically to giving you a snapshot on where you are in terms of the maturity practice of your enterprise architecture to drive digital transformation.